Don't put that.
What's up, everybody? My name's Nick.
And I'm Sue.
And we're here to give you
a reality check.
Yes, let's do it.
Let's go.
Season 49, episode 5. I'm back. I'm so happy to be back in the studio.
And we missed you. We missed you.
I missed you guys so much. And this week we're missing Josh because he's away for a family event, which we miss you, Josh. But
yes,
the show goes on and Survivor keeps going. I feel like I missed some very eventful episodes. We had snake attacks and we had, 2 people left on a tribe. So I'm excited to get back into kind of talking into it. But
yeah, there's been some drama.
I know. How are you feeling about Survivor 49 as a whole?
When I watch Survivor, I look at it in such different light. I'm always comparing. I'm looking at the islands. They're on. So somebody's on the island that I was on. So I'm always searching the island. So my brain is looking. I'm looking to see what they're doing. Who's really playing the game hard? Who's not playing the game hard? Who's hiding? Who's pretty weak? And I try to guess who I think is going to be voted out. I found that last week the exciting part of it was the snake. That was exciting. And last night's episode, I actually was enjoying it. I think one of the fun things that I really enjoyed were all of Sage's faces. Like Sage had me cracking up. Her faces and her finally, when they realized, I know we're going to go into it, but when she saw that they realized that maybe Shannon is playing a little too hard, and I couldn't stop laughing at Sage with her face. And I could almost feel the relief she felt because
it's kind of like everybody saw the wolf in sheep's clothing finally. And she was like, I've been screaming at everybody trying to get you to recognize this. And she was like, oh, I don't have to pretend to be your friend anymore.
Yeah. And, so I feel like there's a few people that are playing some good game. And then, we have Sage and she cracks me up. And the funny thing is I felt so many similarities. I don't know if you noticed it between me and Sage. I felt like with TK, I made a lot of faces. Kyle too. Sage made the faces. And then there was a time when Sage was on the beach and Shannon was again talking about everyone, like God loved Jesus or Jesus loved God and all of that stuff. And then they zoom in underneath her arm to Sage's face. And I'm like, oh my God, that was the time that me and Tiana and TK and Kyle went down to the beach to go sleep. And then TK and Kyle kept talking. So I'm just like, hey, are they sort of like copying what we did? There's a lot of similarities that I thought were cracking me up, that I feel it when you see situations happen like that and someone's driving you crazy. It's really, really difficult. It's harder than what you can imagine. And
I can barely keep my emotions and not wear my heart and my face, my emotions on my face, fully fed, fully slept in a nice home, so to do it 10 days in, just having coconuts, and I can only imagine. But I definitely did notice the similarities because I was going to ask you that. Like, I was literally about to ask you, Sage, you are a no BS kind of woman, just like Sage. So I was going to ask you that if you felt like you had some similarities in the way that you would react to Shannon. But I think you just answered that.
Totally. And that's what it was, is like, I was so feeling her pain and her torture. And, for me, when, TK kept talking and he was getting along so good with everybody, in my brain, I'm just like, are they seeing what I'm seeing? Like he's a good talker. He's becoming best friends with everybody. This is a scary dude, and Sage went through the exact same thing. So I thought it was really interesting that was a very similar, moment.
Yeah, I liked that a lot. And it kind of opened my eyes up a little bit to realize not only is Shannon's gameplay a little bit aggressive now that she's, waking up Steven in the middle of the night and rolling over with all these equations and all these algorithms to keep 2 here, but also her social strategy is very aggressive because she seems to be not only outwardly projecting her own personality, but it's almost like you see in like the alien movies where they like mimic people's personalities.
Yes.
I feel like she's starting to like realize, oh, Christina is very religious. So when I talk to Christina, it's going to be all about religion. When I talk to Nate, it's going to be, you know, all about movies and whatever. So I feel like I almost don't know who Shannon is, because I don't know what to believe is actually her interests and what she's using as kind of a social like lever to get ahead.
That's why if you've ever had the experience where you have a friend that every time, if you like red, they like red. If you like to cross the road this way, oh my God, I only cross the road this way. And like what you're saying is exactly what she's doing. And like what Sage pointed out is she's picking up, you know, what their favorite things are. And she is smart enough. She's very smart.
Yeah.
But she's smart enough to really be able to bring that into a commonality between them and build a bond.
Yeah. It's interesting to see, like, some people are falling for it. Like Christina is really having this mental struggle back and forth of like, well, Shannon's my girl. We share a lot of like core foundational beliefs together. And then Sage is like, I'm not buying it.
Yeah. But here's the thing. When you play Survivor, you want allies. So if someone's coming up to you saying, oh my God, I feel you. This is exactly, you know, I want to be with you. I want to work with you. Let's get a line. I mean, it happened to me. And when I watch all these things happen, I'm always thinking, what if they were messing with me? What if like Gabe was lying to me? What if Caroline, you know, because those were the words that I heard, you know, so you don't know. You don't know. You believe them. And, you know, so many people said, how did you trust them? I said, I don't know. I just believed them.
You just knew. You just had your gut.
You know, but you think you know, because now Christina's saying, oh, well, maybe she is saying this exact same thing to me as she's saying to everybody else. So it's really a fine line of how far you can push your game and the people, because you know what? Everybody talks. Everybody talks.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting to see kind of what you have to choose as a player to latch onto and what you have to choose to let go of.
Yeah.
You know, it's a very fine balance of all of that. And we see that a lot, especially, you know, with Shannon and this montage that we get before the journey, which I was not expecting a journey. I don't know about you. And
I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, this was quite the journey. I am upset that Jason didn't get to go. I am a big Jason fan. I think that he is such a cutie patootie. I love that he was told half an hour before he went to bed that he was playing Survivor tomorrow. Like he from that moment in the beginning to me felt very authentic and felt very like accessible, I guess, in a way, like just real. He talks about Pokemon, you know, he's got his socks up to his knees, you know, he feels like a very real kind of dude. But
isn't he the puzzle genius too? Isn't he this puzzle genius?
And I was really looking forward to getting him in the individual portion of the game with the puzzles, because we could have seen him with an individual immunity run. Like
totally.
It would have been so good. But we have the journey starts and we have MC and Nate. Personally, two people I'm really enjoying this season.
Yeah, I love MC. I love MC.
She is super fun. Her confessionals are great. And in our first impression video on Instagram, when we were reviewing Nate, I'll be the first one to say I was not getting it. There was no soul connection there for me, but he is fully 180'd my opinion of him. He is so smart. He is very much, I think he's successfully doing what Shannon is attempting to do.
Correct.
Because he's like getting in with the young kids, using their lingo in a very nonchalant way.
Yes.
Like, I think he's very successfully integrating himself into the tribe. And people trust him because he's older. So it's like, Nate's not going to be a schemer. He's just my dad, you know.
No, he's definitely playing a great game, and it's nice to see. It's really nice to see.
Yeah, because we've had a lot of, in the new era, we've had a lot of kumbaya, a lot of majority alliances take through. We've had things like that, and Nate seems like, you know, he's gonna play hard, but you know, it's like that crate from last week, when to strike, you know. So
exactly. And since you brought up the journey, like, he was brilliant to stop her from getting that advantage. Like, so when things like that happen, I'm like, would I have thought of that? Like,
it's like you almost hate that. It's like, I always see comments on TikTok on videos that are like, I hate when people are funnier than me. Like, I never would have thought to make that joke or never would have thought to have that strategic play. Like Jawan putting the white rock delicately on top of the bag, you know, like this whole journey, I think was, for me, it was the highlight of the first half of the episode.
Yeah, I agree. I was excited. I was very excited last night.
When I was watching the journey, I was like, okay, they're moving sandbags.
But didn't you feel like something was missing too?
Yeah, and I was like, just sandbags? Like, something's not right here. I was like, there has to be something that's going to happen. And I agree with you. I think Nate's brain is going to be something that I think really sets him apart moving forward, because if I'm him, I know I'm not moving those damn sandbags. So let me get the muscle. Let me get her to help.
Oh yeah.
You know? Yeah. I would have never thought of that. I'm like honest enough to say I would have never thought to be like, well, let's work on it together and then go look.
And leave one bag right in front, and then we come back. Like, that was genius. Like, how
do you think you would have reacted when you saw there's an advantage just inside the tree line? Do you think you would have booked it, or do you think you would have like tried to calm yourself?
I think that I would have booked it.
I think so too.
I feel like in this, and again, it's a bucket list too. You know, it's like you went on a journey, which is a bucket list. It's something that very few people do and have that bragging right. And the fact that you're on the journey and now you've got this opportunity to go find an advantage, like, why not? Yeah.
Yeah.
I was hoping she would have found it.
I know. I really wanted her when she saw that there was still like, it was like half of.
I thought she was going to go.
I thought she was going to turn around and be like, please. You know, like, he fooled me. But we did get a very nice confessional of her talking about her upbringing and how she's always kind of been a more muscular woman. And she had a lot of insecurities that way. And I wanted to ask you, as a woman who is in the gym, lifting weights, hitting those bags, have you ever felt similarly that you shouldn't be as muscular as you are, especially as a woman in her 60s? Like, you're out here doing it.
Right. No, I want muscles, you know, like at this point, I'm here to probably show people, one, first of all, it's healthy, and it's healthy for people, you know, older people, for osteoporosis, for everything in your body. Building muscle, especially in your legs, is really, really important. But for me, I'm always here trying to show people my age, 60 and older, that don't stop. You can just keep going. And I'm proud of my muscles and proud of, I would never hide them.
Yeah.
They're not that big to begin with. You know,
like, no, we go back to episode 1. We have the bicep shot, and they're not small.
Well, but they're not huge. You know, like when I went, you know, like if I really worked hard, I could get them big, and, you know, I'm just too lazy. But no, I think if anything, I was the type my whole life was someone who try to hide my flaws, not the positive things. So more of like, you know, if I felt a little heavy, or if I felt, you know, I always felt short. So there were other issues that I wanted to hide and conceal, but never a muscle.
I love it. MC, we love your muscles.
We love your muscles, MC. Proudly.
I know. I love them. After the journey, we see that everybody bought it. They bought the truth. There's no eyebrows raised. There's no anything like that. And everybody was kind of like, yeah, just based on how tired and sweaty you are, you're probably telling the truth.
Yeah.
You know? So they came back, they were drained. And then to have to go into this week's immunity challenge.
Yeah.
That's just kind of like beating a man while he's down.
Yeah.
That just felt so terrible to me. I actually really enjoyed this week's challenge because it was the Survivor font, which is move this thing and then do a smaller task.
Yeah.
But it was different. We haven't seen them carry these cages, which looked so heavy.
It was heavy. It was insane.
Yeah. And I just felt so bad for Sophie specifically, who has been to every single tribal, only eating coconuts. Yeah. And you could just see, like, it wasn't even just on their faces. It was in their posture. Yeah. It was in the way that they were speaking. This challenge was brutal. Like, I was out of breath by the end of it, like just watching them.
And I don't know how you recover from that. You know, for me, you know I went 11 days without eating, and
wow,
I really saved all of my energy for, you know, the challenges. but then I would rest as much as I could because I remember my legs were cramping, like I really was falling apart. And again, I'm older, so maybe it hit me worse than the younger people, but hearing them talk and just realizing they look like they're doing so well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like now, but you have to know that they're not. You're by day 4 with no eating, you get that fog brain and you're almost like floating around. So yeah, I felt bad for her. She's tiny too. She's not a big girl. So and she was putting all her might into that. She really, really did a good job.
It's interesting to see too, because when you look at them 10 days in, having not eaten, you're starting to see abs and you're starting to see defined muscles and jaw lines and all these things are starting to pop out. But it's because the body is literally digesting itself at this point. And people don't realize, even my own mom, her and I have been watching 49 seasons of Survivor together every single year. And she goes, they have to be giving them protein bars. There's no way. They have to be letting them sleep somewhere. I'm like, Mom, no. They don't get anything. And it's just so crazy to see because they look like they're in the best shape of their lives.
Well, well, I have to tell you, before I went, I remember thinking, I'm wondering if there's something off camera where I can brush my hair. I'm wondering if I can really brush my teeth. And there's nothing. There's nothing. So and as we'll talk about the tribal too, that's what they talked about mostly was the starvation and the, how weak and their brains weren't thinking clearly. So, my heart felt for, this was such a difficult challenge and picking that big box up and carrying it through the water. I can't imagine how grueling that had to have been. And I guarantee you that took an hour to do.
Yeah, I mean, it looks so quick. I was just about to say that. It looks like they just picked it up and ran up the beach. But I can only imagine the pauses in between where people needed breaks and things like that. Because, we hear Nate, who has been very, mannered, very well-mannered, very tempered this season, kind of snap at Rizzo. Just shut up. Just shut up, whatever. So you can see the exhaustion is coming on. Now it's coming into their manners. It's coming how they're interacting with one another. And, I just have to highlight one of my favorite people this season is Christina. Yes. She has probably sat out just as many challenges as Sandra has. And she's looking upside down in the chair.
Oh, my God.
And I'm like, that's exactly what you need to be doing. I think that she is going to be a silent killer come merge because
I thought she was going to tip off the bench. I literally thought she was going to fall off the bench.
I know. It was so good. I was like, good, because everybody else that sat out, we haven't seen that. And he's thinking the gears are still working, which is good.
I guarantee you, though, everybody that sits out on a bench does that because I know we all did. There's probably, but she was so funny and literally tipping her head upside down, hysterical.
Yeah, I loved this challenge. It was definitely back and forth with the cages. Now we get to the ball part. And the one thing that I was cracking up about, after they were all exhausted, there was nothing really to laugh about. There was the receiver who was throwing the balls back to the people in the cage. Shannon kept throwing it over the cage instead of just through the bars.
I know.
I was like, what?
I don't know. I saw the same thing and I'm like, what are you doing? Just give it to him.
Yeah. And at first I was like, okay, because Shannon and the Keller tribe got there first. Yeah. So I was like, maybe that's the rule. It has to go over.
Yes.
And then Jason started receiving and just went whoop right through the middle.
I know.
And I was like, I thought Jeff was going to be like, it's got to go over. It's got to go over. And he didn't. And I was like, nobody.
I don't know how she didn't see that either.
Yeah, I was like, nobody on Kella is watching them and saying, just throw it through.
Because there was one time she threw it up high and I feel like it bounced and almost went out. And I'm just like, what is she doing?
It's just when your brain, you have that.
Absolutely.
You're not
it's
thinking
easy
straight.
On the couch. It's easy on the couch.
I loved it. I enjoyed this challenge. We did see that Kella took the victory, sending Sophie to another tribal council, unfortunately. What did you think about this moment with Savannah before everybody packed out?
Which moment? With Savannah deciding to maybe flip?
At the end of the challenge where she was talking to Jeff about how everybody is so tired and she started crying.
Yeah. I I feel that was very genuine. She's a very good speaker. And if somebody's going to be the spokesperson for how exhausted they are and how wiped out they are, she's the person to do it. She literally had her heart on her sleeve, and you could see she was struggling. And again, people can only imagine, but unless you've been through this, no one understands. And like she was saying, the paranoia, I don't know if she said that there or at the tribal, but it's not easy. This is not an easy game.
No.
And it was sort of nice to see her be so open and vulnerable, because I feel like she's been a badass.
She's
running
been
the
very
show.
very stone-faced, cutthroat. I'm making it to the end.
Yeah. So it was nice to see the human part of her a little bit. And, I in my brain, you wonder, is she pouring it on a little or not? And I don't think she was. I think she was dead serious that was her real feelings of how she felt.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think that there was anything performative about that moment with her, because you could see she almost looked uncomfortable getting emotional. And it is a very calculated thing to talk about, because obviously all of us are experiencing that. Everybody, not me, everybody that's on the beach is experiencing that. So we all know that it's happening. Everybody's aware that we're hungry. We're aware that we're pushing our body past the limits. But it's almost one of those things that's like when you're at work and you don't want to ask your coworker how to do something because you should know how to do it.
Yeah.
It's like you don't want to admit that you're tired, because then your alliance might be like, well, is she going to be able to last the rest of the game?
Right.
So it's a very fine line of like letting people in and seeming weak. So I liked this moment from her. I think it was very vulnerable.
I like that too. And here's another example. When back to 47, our first 4 days, I'd been very, very sick. And I was struggling, very, very sick. I had a super, super migraine and blah, blah, blah. Stomach was bad, the whole thing, very, very sick. And one of the first times we had come together, I remember Jeff saying something to Genevieve, and Genevieve said, and I didn't want anybody else to know. And Jeff said to Genevieve, Genevieve, tell me how it's going. And she said, well, Jeff, I've been sick for 3 days. And in my heart, I'm just like, oh my God, me too. It felt good to know that I'm just not this weakling, right? That I didn't want to share that I was sick too, but it felt so good knowing that she was sick, probably the exact same reason I was, which was no more food, maybe no more coffee, no sleep, blah, 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 the whole thing. And that really, it made me feel good that she opened up, because you start questioning yourself
I'm sure there's some insecurities in there of like, am I the only one? Everybody else is still getting up and collecting firewood and making jokes, and I feel like I want to die.
Yeah.
So, I can imagine that there's a level of, like they were saying at the tribal, a little bit of compare and contrast of insecurities and things like that. I can only imagine. I always think I want to play Survivor, and then I hear things like that and I'm like, I don't know. I would probably spiral.
No, you know what? You you make it work. I think every single person, you just go through the motions and hope for a brighter day, So as much as you say that, and then you're just like, oh, I don't know if I could do it. You don't know what you can do until you do it.
Yeah.
And I think you could do it.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that. We did get the age-old question, to eat or not to eat with the chickens. I love that they are bringing the chickens back in the new era. God. This moment, I don't want to spend too long on it, because it was kind of heartbreaking. I look, I'm not a vegetarian. I eat meat, but I don't know. You hear it. You hear the cries of this living creature. I personally don't think I could do it. I could eat it if I was far enough down the beach, but I don't think I could do it. Kudos to Alex and Steven for taking care of business, and that, I felt for Sage in that moment.
Yeah, that was tough. That was really, really tough to hear. And the fact that the girls probably walked so far away, and it probably just echoed through the whole island. It had to have been horrible. And your heart goes out to them, but I do give the guys credit for doing something like that. I mean, maybe if they could have taken their machete and chopped off its head, it might have been a little bit better, but whatever they did.
I felt like they were like, swinging it around. I'm like, just kill it. Like, why is this taking so long? I feel like in seasons past, it's just been like, but
But again, I don't know how I could do it either. So
kudos to them.
Yeah, but I was all for them. I would, if we had gotten the chicken on Tuku, we would have eaten it. I would have been.
You have to.
If I had to, I would have done it myself. That's how much we were starving.
Especially after such a grueling challenge, it's so important that your body needs it so bad.
That had helped them so much.
I know. It looked good. I'm always amazed when I'm watching Survivor and the food looks good. Like things like that. I'm like, I literally just had spaghetti meatballs for dinner. And I'm like, that looks really good. And it's just chicken on the grill. I'm like, this is not like
little burn marks on it. Like no, they did a good job. They did a really good job.
Yeah. We head back over to our losing tribe before tribal. And it wasn't super scrambly. There was a little bit of talks that ended up not really going anywhere. Yeah. But we kind of head to tribal with the idea that maybe Savannah will throw a vote, maybe not, but it's most likely going to be Jason.
But did you think that her and Nate may do it and may have gotten some other people to do it?
I would have loved if it was going to happen, but I wasn't buying it because I think Nate is so pragmatic and so specific in the way that he wants to play his game.
Yeah.
And I think we heard him mention about this like eye for an eye. Mm-hmm. And I think that in that moment was so valuable to him. And he had just made a bond with MC, who was on the former Hina tribe. Yeah. So I think he was thinking merge, because now with Jake's early exit, the merge comes an episode sooner.
Yeah.
So I think while I wanted it to happen so bad, what I was anticipating happening was Jason plays shot in the dark.
Yes. Why didn't he?
And then he's safe, and Savannah or him threw a vote onto anybody else.
Anybody. Yeah.
But I was shocked that again, 2 weeks in a row, Jason did not play his shot in the dark.
I don't get it. I don't get it.
I don't get it either. But we had a very vulnerable, very open, honest conversation in tribal. I love when tribals are like this. I also kind of hate it in the same breath because as a viewer, we know how they're feeling, how exhausted they are. Like I kind of miss the tribals where it was like, we're all in on the plan.
Yeah.
And then one person's like, what plan?
Exactly.
So I do miss a little bit of the drama. This season is not very dramatic in a like sassy, backstabby kind of way. Yeah. It's still early.
Yeah. Right. But just goes to show too how good of a talker Savannah is for her to get Jason believe so much that they're going to go for Jawan that he doesn't play his shot in the dark.
Yeah. And I think that unfortunately Jason and Jawan's friendship may have given Jason a little bit of a false sense of security. Yeah. Because he was like, oh, well, Jawan is in with them. And he's telling me that it's Rizzo. Right. So it's got to be Rizzo.
And the fact that anybody could, I don't know, I feel like you got to read the room and see that Rizzo's good with all of them. Like, how do you fall for that when you know that you're the one person that's not part of their group, right?
Yeah, I do feel like there's a little bit of almost like I don't want to say a lack of social awareness, because Jason was very self-aware of his position in the tribe, right? Which is all the more surprising that he didn't use his shot in the dark, because he seems very aware. He seems very like in touch with, okay, there's the little click. I'm trying to work on Jawan, but I don't know. I was disappointed because I really did enjoy Jason. I thought that he was very like, he was just like quirky, weird, cute little guy.
I liked him.
But I enjoyed this tribal because now we do have this kind of evening. Well, now we're indebted one. So now it's Hina 2, Uli, 4 to 6. So heading into a merge, we could see a season 48 powerhouse alliance.
It'll be insane
heading into the merge.
But I do think Jawan really gets on Savannah's nerves. Like she, again, she's the first one saying, we're tired, we can't think straight, blah, blah, blah. And then he has her water bottle. Do you know how many times me and Gabe had each other's water bottles? Like I tied a knot in a certain area so that I would know that was mine. I made mine shorter or something. And then next thing you know, I'm drinking out of his and he's drinking out of mine. Like it's just, he didn't do it intentionally. But
And like, what does that get in my, like, I understand that maybe it's frustrating. Lack of sleep, you're not thinking as clearly, letting things go as easily. But in my mind, if I'm Savannah, I'm like, what does that get him? What does using my water bottle get him in the long run? That it pisses me off? Because I don't think I'm that important in his gameplay to have to piss off so severely. I genuinely think that Juwan is a little bit of a loner, a little bit of like a little antisocial, a little shy. So I think they genuinely are just innocent accidents.
100%.
And I do think that her internalization of this is a great weapon. I think being so integrated in such a core 4 this early and being able to just be annoyed with somebody, because sometimes that's all it takes on Survivor. We might all love each other, but you know, if we're a strong 5 and you're just like, you snore, you gotta go.
All you need to do is throw out a name. You throw out a name, the group's going to follow you. It's already planted in their brains. So if and when the time is going to come, they're already thinking, well, that, you know, they already have him out. They know she's going to come for him. And she's talking a lot about him. She's been complaining about him. When you complain, they all see it too. And it becomes magnified. So I think she is annoyed, but she's also looking to, you know,
I think she's looking to make like a common enemy. I think it's smart too, especially going into a merge. If you need to kind of allow there to be a sacrificial lamb or a crack, so to speak. Oh, well, we don't get along with him anyway. So, you know, I think
he doesn't know it. And the thing is, he doesn't know it.
I know, which is really upsetting because it's kind of reminding me of Star last season, who thought she was friends with everybody, and you know, then they're having like a kumbaya fire circle, and she's off in the shelter.
I agree. You know? I agree.
But it's interesting. It's interesting to see, and I am excited to see kind of how it unfolds. If we get the merge next week, if we're gonna have to wait one more, but I don't know. Who are you looking forward to in the rest of the season? I think I know who you're gonna pick.
Well, I'm looking forward to some drama. I want to see some really, you know, people I want to merge. I really want to merge because it changes all the dynamics. I think, you know, the people that are the underdogs might now have a new alliance that they can opportunity to stay in the game. You know, I always root for the underdogs. So I'm rooting for Juwan, you know, because, you know, they're powerhouses against him. So, you know, if they lose, he's going home next. And, you know, I don't know. I always want the underdogs to pull ahead. So
love a comeback story. I feel the same way. I love a comeback story, especially in Survivor, because they usually feel very like David versus Goliath when the 1 escapes the 6. You know? So I'm hoping, maybe I would have loved to have seen MC or Nate have gotten that advantage. I'm hoping maybe we see it come back. Maybe it gets reintegrated somehow. I'm not sure, but I'm loving the amount of screen time MC is getting. It feels good. It doesn't feel like too much, like she's gonna go home, and it doesn't feel like not enough, like she's not important. I'm
curious. Do you think that if she got an advantage, she would have told them?
I think she would have told Steven, but I think she would have probably, to the larger majority, probably not, because I don't think she would have wanted Shannon to know. I don't think that she would have wanted Sage to know even. She might have told her 4 Hina. Or her 2 Hina that are there with her. But I couldn't really see her telling Alex, Sage, or Shannon.
She doesn't have a vote, right?
I was curious how that was going to work. If she already doesn't have a vote, and then lost, so is she like -1?
Well, the other one she'd have to find the 1, which I think it's easy to find, right? Wait, is it not? It's not around the water well anymore, right? I think it's going to be something different.
I think she has that original, that one, but she hasn't lost yet. She's been on the winning chart every week. So that idol or advantage hasn't been planted yet because she hasn't lost. So
I have a feeling it would be a double-double. I think it would be like 2 tribals.
Yeah, I think so too. I feel like but that's the thing too. She almost shouldn't have been allowed to wager her vote for the advantage if she didn't have a vote to wager. It's the same way you can't use your shot in the dark.
Right.
If you don't have a vote.
What about Sage telling them that Rizzo has the advantage?
She is just like laying it out. She's like, look, I don't like Shannon. Rizzo has an advantage. Do you want to work with me?
Well, I mean, it's smart. It's the only way to secure your loyalty to them. I mean, so she did the right thing.
Yeah.
It was
I think
the
so
only
too.
way.
I'm excited. I'm so excited to see what happens next week. Be sure to join us back here next week. Josh will be home. We'll be back with the incomparable Sue Smey, as always. And did you see the tsunami was mentioned in Tribal?
No, I did not.
Sophie said it's like a tsunami came through here. I wrote it down.
I didn't even put two. I almost was going to wear my tsunami shirt. Instead, I wore my Fiji shirt.
I wrote it down. I was like, tsunami mentioned at Tribal.
Oh, I did not even pick that. I heard it, but I didn't think about me.
Yeah, I love it. Well, I will see you back next week. Thank you for joining me as always. And we will see you all next week. Be sure to check us out on YouTube, Instagram. Be sure to check out Sue's website for amazing articles about her life and her business ventures and all those things in between. And we will see you next week.
Bye. Love you.
Bye.